Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Sims Proving Every Day. I'm Gina, and today we are going to get into the very basics of building. I'll show you how to get into build mode a couple of different ways. We'll of course have a look at the user interface and all the information panels, and we'll go over most of the tools, not all of them, but most of the building tools available to us. Stick around until the end of the video when we visit one of my favorite worlds, Windenburg. And remember, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Help your girl out, please, and thank you. Here we are at our main screen. Mine looks a little bit different today because my internet is down, so that's always a good time, but that should not affect our recording today. There are a couple of different ways to get into build mode from the main screen. The first is by creating a new game. This will create a new save file. So if you're playing a household or a storyline, that household or storyline will not be in this save file. Also, you'll have to go through Create a Sim, place them on a lot they can afford, and so on. So let's see what that looks like real quick. So we click on New Game, we're in Create a Sim, and we are just going to take the first one that they give us for this demonstration. We will randomize his name. We'll just give him any aspiration and any traits. And there we go. So I'm just taking a small empty lot that this sim can afford. Go ahead and click on the wrench and hammer up at the top right. Now if you choose to go in this way, this will use the sim's funds. So he only has 17,500 simoleons down here to do a whole house. It's not totally impossible, it's just a little bit challenging. So if you don't want to use their funds, then you can go ahead and go up to our options, Manage Worlds, and nothing's happened yet, so we can just click on Go to Manage Worlds. And we will select a different empty lot to build on. By going to a different lot, that means you have unlimited fundage. That's showing down in the bottom left corner with the infinity symbol here. So if you want to build your sim a home on a specific lot, but you don't want to use their funds, I suggest moving them into a different empty lot or a starter home. Go to the lot that you want them to live on, build your build, and then move them in. Now, if your build is more expensive than the amount of simoleons that they have available, then they might have to save a little bit to be able to move in, or we could do the money cheat, but we don't want to start cheating this early. That's a totally different video. In that short amount of time that I was recording, my internet came back up, so that's fabulous. But the second way to get into build mode from the main screen is by selecting Load Game. So for example, if we wanted to make a pet store for Brent and Brittany to visit, we would go ahead and select Load Game, and we would scroll down to that save and hit play. So here we are in Willow Creek, and this is where our girl Brittany lives, and Brent lives right next door. So if we wanted to, like I said, create them a pet store, we could actually go up to the worlds and put it in Brindleton Bay, the world that came with cats and dogs, and we could put it back here, and then Brittany and Brent can go shopping for their future pets. But that's not to say that your Sims or storylines that you're currently playing would never be able to visit any of your builds. If you realize that you've been building in the wrong save file, or you created a new game and you're really excited about the build that you're doing and you want it in your other save files, then you can go ahead and save it to your library, and it will be accessible anytime you want to use it. No matter which way you go in, if you are not currently in a household, you will have unlimited funds. Here we are in Willow Creek. It looks a little bit different because this is my save file called the construction zone. So this is where I do all of my builds. I've wiped out every lot in every world just because I felt like it. So we're just going to go up here to Riverside Roost. We are going to start with the user interface in the upper left-hand corner. This little house with the letter I. We are going to click on that. That is our venue info. And this is our lot type, our lot value, lot dimensions. If it's residential, you can enter the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. And then this is where the lot requirements would be if there were requirements for that particular type of lot. So there are no requirements for residential, but if we did the drop down and we went to a cafe, now we have requirements such as we need a public restroom and, of course, an espresso machine and grinder, tables, chairs, that kind of stuff would be good for a cafe. But we are going to go ahead and stick with residential for this one. So this next icon over here with the question mark, this is the traits panel. This is where you can assign the lot itself its own traits. You can assign it up to 3 traits, and I apologize, I'm not sure which ones are base game only, but I do know that Homey is base game only. So for example, if you assign your lot the Homey trait, it helps Sims quickly master the domestic arts of cooking, mixology, handiness, and gardening. So anytime you do those, the Sims build those skills faster. So I just discovered that since the new expansion pack Cottage Living came out, they've changed up the lot traits. So there's really no more super negative lot traits. It looks like all the traits that would have been considered bad have moved to the lot challenges. So over here, we can use these and these challenges, and I think we can assign up to 3 of them to put a little bit extra challenge on the game. So we can go ahead and click that to make that box disappear, and then right here on the title, if we go ahead and click on that, we can change the name. We've changed the name now, and that's what it will show up as on the world map. So moving over to our UI on the top middle, we have the select tool, and it also tells you what the hotkey is for it. And the select tool is what we would use to select stuff and grab onto items. We have the eyedropper that lets you copy items. We have the design tool that lets you choose between swatches. We have the sledgehammer, which allows you to get rid of something. The undo and redo arrows will light up once we start building. This is where we would save the lot to our library. And this little cross right here adjusts the lot in the house on the grid. It's kind of hard to explain without actually having it built. And then we have bulldoze, which will completely bulldoze the lot. So if we select bulldoze lot, that will get rid of any structures. If we select bulldoze terrain, that will get rid of any terrain paint that you've done, and it will also flatten the lot. Over here we have the time of day, and you can make it morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I personally like building in the afternoon. So across the way on the upper right, we have a Manage Worlds button that I never use. We have access to the gallery. These up and down arrows allow you to change between the floors once something is built. The walls up we've talked about in a previous video, which all of the videos will be linked below. And we have camera controls, we have our notification wall, and we have our options. Down in the bottom left, this is where the building magic happens, people. Over on the far left, we've got 4 icons. We've got the house, which is build. We've got objects by room, objects by function. That's where you buy the stuff to put in your builds, and we have the household inventory. However, we do not have a household to work with, so we will not have a household inventory. So when you click on build, you will get this little kind of cross-section of this nifty house, and these are all of the different categories we can build with. We have roofs, and a quick note about roofs. I am not a roofing expert by any means whatsoever. I do what I need to do to get my buildings covered, and that's about it. I don't know if I will even delve into roofing in any of my tutorials. I have not decided. We also have roof patterns and roof sculptures. Roof sculptures is where you will find your chimneys, weather vanes, dormers, anything like that. That's where that's going to be. We also have roof trims, friezes and exterior trims, wall patterns, which are going to be your wall coverings. If you click on that, you have several different types: paint, wallpaper, tile, stonework, etc. Floor coverings, kind of the same thing. You have the wood, carpet, tile, linoleum, some stone, metal, other stuff. This is where we have our foundation coverings. This back room over here is styled rooms, so kind of like in Create a Sim where you have the styled looks. These are rooms that the Sims development team has put together that you can purchase and place an entire room. It's kind of hard to see all the stuff that's in it right there. So we have walls and empty rooms right here. We have doors, we have windows, we have wall sculptures. Wall sculptures is where you will find flower boxes, balconies, awnings, vent covers, that type of stuff. We have fences, gates, columns, spandrels, stairs and ladders, stair railings, and then we have for the outdoors, outdoor plants, we have outdoor water decor, we've got new terrain tools, and we've got pools and fountains. All right, let's get some walls. So we will go into our wall tool. This first tool, you can click and drag, and it drags out one segment of wall at a time. Once you connect your walls, it will automatically place a floor and ceiling, not a roof, just a ceiling. So if we use our arrows in the upper right-hand corner, we can go up and see that it has a ceiling. And then if we wanted, we can go down and look underground now. So if we go up to select here and we click on the wall, we get more options. We can change the wall height. We can go short, medium, or tall. These two arrows have to do with platforms, which we're not going to talk about in this video. This set of arrows will rotate. This cross arrow will move the entire room, and then this will copy the entire room. So if you have a fully decorated room, we'll just use this one object as an example. Okay, and you click on it, whatever is in the room will rotate and move and copy with the room. You also have these side arrows and this middle arrow. So when you have these side arrows, you can go ahead and grab onto one and it extends the whole segment. And then this chunky arrow in the middle is what will give you your foundation height. Foundations and platforms are different, but like I said, we will get into platforms in a different video. This next tool is the room tool. So you can start, click, hold, drag, and it does the whole room for you. This next one is the custom room tool. So this one you can click, you don't have to hold it down, move your mouse, click where you want your next point to be, and you can go diagonal, and you can go this way, and up one, and then when your walls meet, it will again automatically place the floor and ceiling of whatever shape you created. All of these tools that have the dotted lines have to do with platforms, so again, we are not going to talk about those. And then we have the basement tool. So if you're on the ground level, you can go ahead and go like that and just drag it out, and you see where your basement is, and then you can click the arrow down to see the actual basement. Custom basement tool, just like the custom room tool. Click where you want your points, have them meet, and then go down a level and you have your weirdly shaped basement. The next four room tools, the triangle, the square, the L shape, and the octagon, unless I need a room that shape in that exact size, I don't really mess with this, because if you try to extend your room, they do not maintain the shape. And to me, it takes more time and more frustration to try to get them reshaped that way than just drawing out what you need. So if I need a triangle, I'm going to just make a darn triangle. Just like that, in the size that I need it. And these next tools are called flat rooms. So when you put them down, they actually do not have walls, yet they're still counted as a room. I usually only use the square and the round, and the way that I use them, there's several different uses for them, is if I want an overhang, if I have a build like this square right here, and I want an overhang, I put that up there, and then I have an overhang. And then because it's considered a room, you can still go ahead and click on it and drag it out to as big as you need it. I also use them this way, and then what I would do in this instance is click on the highlight yellow and build the ceiling, and I get the overhang. And that one was actually pushed in too far, that's why it took away the wall right there. If you're building and it's anything more than a basic square rectangle type room, sometimes the roofing situation gets a little tricky. I'll use these sometimes to cover it, because sometimes the game doesn't detect when it's a complete room, even though it is. So sometimes you have to rebuild your walls. Sometimes you have to add one of these flat rooms to it. It's a lot of troubleshooting and figuring out what really works for you. So these decking tools will automatically put a railing on the room. So you go ahead and back it up to your wall, and it puts the room on a foundation with the railing, and you can go ahead and stretch it to how you need it or how you want it. And then let's check out this rounded one, and we can put that right there. And we'll take another one and put it right there. And then we can actually take the build right there. And now, because those are two pieces, we can actually adjust these walls individually, and it will adjust these. However, if we go ahead and take our sledgehammer and we get rid of this railing, it becomes one. These last two tools are diagonal decks and a diagonal room. Again, I don't really use them. If I want something diagonal, I will go ahead and draw it out. So this next icon down is half walls. We have several different heights of half walls, and we have a few different options of how we place them. So let me go ahead and just draw out a room again. When you select a height of a half wall, the selection that's automatically chosen for you is replace with half walls. So you have your height selected, and then if you hover over a normal sized wall and click on it, it will replace that one with the half wall. And then if you go up, you can see that it's cut out. This one is going to be basically like the room tool. You can draw an enclosure. And then this top one is the one that allows you to go segment by segment. I try very hard not to complain about what's in the game. I love the game. I think it's beautiful. But there are a couple of things that make me go, why? Why? And this is one of those things. The trim on the half walls is very wide, and that causes Sims to go ahead and leave dirty, crusty plates and dishes up there and glasses, and they get stinky and it's gross. So speaking of trims, we can go ahead and change the color of them. And you have a couple of different choices of style, although they all look kind of the same to me. But if you have Dine Out, you can also select this one or this one. And if you have Get Famous, then you have that one. Fancy. This bottom tool right here is platform trims. Again, platforms is not this video. Doors come in 3 sizes, and those are the heights of the walls. So we have short doors that are your pretty average doors. We have medium. And then we also have a very few tall doors. Windows are the same thing. We have 3 different heights for the 3 different wall sizes. You can always put smaller windows on taller walls, but you can't really put taller windows on smaller walls unless you have the Move Objects cheat on, which again, not this video. What I like to do when I'm placing windows is to judge the height is I will grab a counter and put it up on the wall. The counters are about waist high on adult and teen Sims, so that gives me an idea of where I want my windows. If I want them lower, that's where I would put them. If I wanted them to be about waist high, then that's where they would go. That might look a little bit weird if you have the shortest wall height, but it would still work. Windows can also be placed anywhere, almost anywhere, vertically on a wall at any height. And both doors and windows, let me get the small door here, on the grid can be placed on the full grid squares or half grid squares. Let's get into some wall coverings. Okay, again, we have all the different types. I'm just going to pick wallpaper for this one, and we'll just take this striped one. If you hover over the wall and click, you can do it segment by segment. If you hold the Shift key down, it will do the whole area. And then that goes the same for the inside. Now, sometimes the insides of your builds will be pretty dark when you're first starting out. So I always go into lighting and get this little guy. This is the best light in the game, in my opinion. And it just lights up the inside beautifully. Sometimes colors look different without the lights in there. I apologize, I forgot to take my custom content out, so if there's stuff that I have that you don't, that's why. So floor coverings are basically the same thing, and we can go ahead and do one tile at a time, or we can hold down Shift and do the whole room. If the grid lines bother you, you can press G to get rid of them. The last basic thing that I want to talk about is stairs. So we just have a little piece of a deck, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of that railing. So you can go ahead and select stairs. We'll just pick these, and it'll automatically try to give you a full flight of stairs. You just back it up to where it needs to go. And then if you place it like that, it gives you kind of like this top full step right there. But if you go ahead and really back it all the way up, then there's not that full step. And then you can also extend your stairs out to however wide you need them. This set of stairs comes in 3 different swatches. You cannot use the design tool to recolor certain things like wall coverings, floor coverings, that kind of stuff. Stairs, it doesn't work on. So in order to change the swatch, you actually have to just click on the new set of stairs, line them up, and then click, and it will change. It doesn't look like that much of a change, but they did change. And that's the same way you would change if you wanted a completely different type as well. So let's get these from Get Together. There we go. What I'm going to do now is build a very, very, very basic house. I'm not using any custom content, no mods, nothing like that. And it's just going to be the stuff that we talked about in this video. Alright, super speed build activate. I was trying to get the informational portion of this video to fit under 30 minutes, and I did it just barely, coming in at 28 minutes and 21 seconds. Okay, so I am feeling that the house is a little close to the front of the property for my liking, so I'm going to go up here to the cross and select Move House. I'm going to click on it, and this is just, I'm going to move it back into the side just a little bit. When you're moving the lot and the property around, be careful because when you move stuff, anything that's green with the green outline will be okay. If it's yellow, you're gonna lose it, and then if it turns red, it won't allow you to place it. I do typically like symmetry. I'm trying to use these tutorials as a way to get out of my comfort zones. So to get doors to open a different way than the way the game wants to place them, you would go ahead and just rotate them using the comma and period keys or the greater than less than signs, and then the doorknob is on the other side. And that also works for windows when they have a definite inside and outside. This one I think is one of them. So that's the outside. That's what the inside looks like. So if we grab onto that and we were to rotate it, you could tell that that's the inside. To get everything to fit in this video, I did cut out a lot of me choosing which windows, doors, floors, and wall coverings to use because that does take me a very long time, especially if I'm trying to mix windows and door styles from different packs. Initially, I did place the windows a little bit higher because I used the counter as a guide. I was originally going to do all the same windows, but then in the end, I used a different window in the kitchen, so I went around and lowered all of the windows, except for one. I missed the one in the bedroom. I apologize. That was making me crazy when I watched this again. I also cut out all of the parts of decorating. The finished product is barely decorated, but this isn't a decorating tutorial. It's a building tutorial, so I cut all of that out. Another little complaint that I have about the game is the carpets. I hate the carpets. I'm trying not to use custom content, especially in the tutorials and stuff like that. One thing I probably will use in the future is custom floors. And then we are on to roofing, my favorite subject. Not, but I got it done. As I mentioned earlier, I am trying to get out of my building comfort zones, and one of the habits that I have is putting windows everywhere. I love windows and I'm picky about them, but I'm trying to rein that in a little bit. Alright, and here is my super quick little house. I've got a little bit of a porch, and that foundation doesn't really go with it, but it is not a decorating tutorial, it is a building tutorial. And so that is pretty basic. Again, super simple, not nearly building to the best of my capabilities, just wanted to get something built for the video. This would help a sim take care of all of their needs. It's functional, just not super amazing. So it did go over the $20,000 or simoleon price tag, so this would not qualify as a starter house, but it wouldn't take a lot to have your Sims be able to save up that much. Stick around for our look at Windenburg. Here we are in Windenburg. We have 4 main areas. And we have a few special lots. We have the Bluffs, Ancient Ruins, and the Von Haunt Estate up there. There are quite a few families that live here, and I see the Sims from Windenburg everywhere. We have the Villarreal family, the Party House crew. They all have their own individual names. Party House is just the name of the lot. This is Old Platts, and this area, all the areas in Windenburg are huge. Just in this shot, though, over on the far left, there's 2 residential lots, and then over here is the library, nightclub, and cafe, and then we have a bar over here, another residential lot, the party house right here. This is the entrance to the Ancient Ruins, so you can either go through there, or you can go through the phone and travel there. This is the Like Center, or Likey Center. I apologize, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And in this area, we have a pool, a park, a cafe, a gym, and a nightclub, as well as several places to paint and fish. Here we are on the Crumbling Isle, and you can take your sim all the way around this island. And there's a few places to fish, and beautiful scenery in the background. There are no community lots on the Crumbling Isle, but right here is the entrance to the bluffs. So again, like the ancient ruins, you can either take the entrance that they have, or you can use your phone and travel there. This is the area of Windslar, and the only community lot in this neighborhood is the Shrieking Llama Bar. But this area is pretty expansive. I decided to not go into any special lots because I want you to explore them for yourselves. The only thing I will say is that when you're in Windenburg and you think you've reached the end of an area, keep trying to go further because these areas are so big. You can walk all over this place. Also, while you're in Windenburg, keep your eye out for Emily the Sea Monster. She is known to appear throughout the waters of Windenburg. She can usually be seen from the bluffs, though. If you decide to go and explore the Von Haunt estate, make sure you go through the hedge maze and check out their little garden that they have. They also have a place to do paintings. They have a wedding arch to get married that's right next to a waterfall. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. In the next video, we will be getting back with Brittany and Brent, and we will be progressing their story a little bit. But until then, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Questions, kind comments, and feedback are always welcome. And remember, be a nice human. Bye.